Have you ever poured your entire being into a conversation, attempting to unravel the complex tapestry of your emotions, only to be met with a vacant gaze, a dismissive wave, or worse, a deliberate misinterpretation designed to diminish you? Have you, in your fervent desire to be seen, to be understood, felt the insidious sting of bleeding your emotional energy dry, trying to validate your worth to those utterly incapable of comprehending its true measure? If your answer resonates with a quiet, knowing weariness, then this message is for you. This isn't a conversation about surrender, but about an exquisite strategic reclamation of power. Today we embark on an exploration of what I call the Mask of Indifference, not as a shield born of cowardice, but as an advanced stratagem for the sovereign woman. This is not about becoming cold or heartless. It is about cultivating an internal fortress so formidable that external provocations, whether they come in the guise of veiled slights or overt aggressions, simply cannot breach its walls. We are delving into the profound wisdom of Machiavellian patience, a nuanced understanding that your deepest reactions are your most valuable currency, and the sovereign woman chooses with meticulous precision where and if she will spend them. This is about becoming emotionally unreachable, not through a lack of feeling, but through an abundance of self-preservation and strategic insight. For too long, many of us have been taught subtly or overtly that our value is inextricably linked to our emotional responsiveness. That to be kind is to be endlessly patient, to be understanding is to constantly explain, and to be empathetic is to absorb every stray dart hurled our way. We've been conditioned to believe that our transparency, our vulnerability, our willingness to engage in the often futile task of explaining our very essence to those who either lack the capacity or the will to understand is a virtue. But what if this constant outlay of emotional capital is, in fact, a profound and continuous act of self-betrayal? What if the very act of seeking external validation for your internal landscape is precisely what keeps you tethered, bound, and vulnerable? Consider the energy you have expended, the countless hours spent dissecting a hurtful comment, rehearsing counter-arguments that will never be heard, or lamenting the perceived injustice of someone else's narrow perspective. This emotional expenditure is not merely tiring, it is corrosive. It erodes your internal peace, distracts you from your true purpose, and subtly, yet relentlessly, hands over the keys to your emotional well-being to those who do not deserve such potent access. Every reaction, every explanation, every plea for understanding to an unreceptive audience is an invitation for further trespass. It's a signal that your emotional boundaries are porous, an open invitation for others to dictate your internal climate. This brings us to the core of our discussion, the power of non-reaction. This is not simple stoicism, nor is it a childish refusal to engage. No, this is a sophisticated psychological maneuver rooted in a deep understanding of human nature and power dynamics. When you choose not to react to an insult, a dismissal, a deliberate provocation, you are not only refusing to give that external stimulus power over you, but you are also actively reclaiming your own. Imagine yourself as a magnificent ancient oak tree. The wind may howl, the branches may sway, but its roots remain profoundly anchored, unmoved by the tempest above. Your emotional core, your inner self, must become that oak. The Mask of Indifference is not about suppressing your emotions, but about mastering their deployment. Internally, you may register the slight, you may feel the sting, but externally, your placid demeanor, your unperturbed gaze, communicates a far more powerful message. You cannot touch me. Your words, your actions, your judgments hold no sway over my inner landscape. This strategic display of indifference creates a vacuum where your aggressor expected a reaction. They anticipate tears, anger, defensiveness, any sign that their arrow has hit its mark. When they receive nothing, their own ammunition dissipates into thin air. Their power play is rendered impotent, their attempt at manipulation futile. The absence of your reaction becomes the loudest statement of all. This mastery of non-reaction is a cornerstone of Machiavellian patience. Machiavelli, often misunderstood, was not advocating for cruelty, but for a pragmatic understanding of power. For him, the prince who could control perception, who could appear unwavering and resolute, held the true advantage. For the sovereign woman, this translates into becoming a master of your own emotional state and its external presentation. It is about understanding that patience is not merely waiting. It is a profound, active strategy. It is the ability to delay gratification not just in actions, but in reactions. To observe the chessboard, understand the moves, and then choose not to play the game on their terms. Consider the metaphor of the diamond. A diamond is forged under immense pressure, enduring conditions that would shatter lesser materials. Its brilliance is not born from softness, but from its crystalline structure, its unyielding nature. When struck, it does not splinter. It reflects the light, often breaking what attempts to break it. You, the woman of experience, the woman of maturity, are like that diamond. You have endured pressure. You have been cut and polished by life's trials. Your value is inherent, not dependent on the approval of others. Why then would you allow a lesser stone, a pebble, or even just dust to diminish your sparkle or chip at your perfectly formed facets? The mask of indifference is your final lustrous polish, rendering you impermeable to trivialities. Another powerful image is that of the queen in exile. Stripped of her crown, perhaps even her physical kingdom, she still carries the regal bearing, the inherent authority within her. Her power is not derived from her external circumstances, but from her unwavering sense of self, her internal sovereignty. She does not demand respect. She commands it through her very presence, her composure, her refusal to descend into the petty squabbles of those who sought to depose her. When someone attempts to undermine you, to pull you into their drama, remember the queen. Her silence is her power, her dignified withdrawal, her ultimate victory. She does not explain. She simply is. This leads us to the zenith of emotional sovereignty, a state where a compliment does not inflate you and a critique does not wound you. This is the profound understanding that your self-worth is an internal construct, not an external negotiation. When a compliment is offered, you accept it gracefully, not because you needed it to affirm your value, but because it is a reflection of someone else's positive perception, which you neither seek nor reject. Conversely, when criticism, especially unjust or ill-intentioned criticism, is levied against you, it glances off your being without leaving a mark. It is simply information, perhaps misguided, perhaps malicious, but ultimately irrelevant to the truth of who you are. Your internal compass points true, regardless of external winds. You are not impervious to feeling, but you are immune to being defined by external opinions. Let's apply this to common scenarios. In the workplace, a colleague attempts to undermine your project or dismiss your ideas in a meeting. The old you might have immediately jumped to defend, to explain, to combat. The sovereign you wearing the mask of indifference simply observes. Perhaps a calm, measured, "Thank you for your perspective," or a silent, unwavering gaze that communicates, "Your words hold no weight here." You don't engage in a verbal skirmish. You simply continue with your presentation, letting the quality of your work speak for itself. You deny them the satisfaction of a visible reaction, and in doing so, you deny them power. Their attempt to destabilize you only highlights their own insecurity. In personal relationships, a family member consistently makes belittling remarks or attempts to guilt trip you. Instead of engaging in the cyclical arguments, the painful explanations that lead nowhere, you employ strategic silence. You don't necessarily cut them off, but you dramatically reduce your emotional availability to their provocations. When a familiar negative pattern emerges, you might simply change the subject, excuse yourself from the conversation, or offer a neutral, non-committal response that signals the end of the emotional interaction. "I hear you," said without inflection, often speaks volumes by saying nothing specific. This isn't passive aggression, it's active self-preservation. It teaches them through your consistent non-reaction that their usual tactics are no longer effective. The true liberation comes from understanding that your peace is paramount. Your emotional energy is finite, a precious resource. To allow others to deplete it for their own gratification, their own need for drama, their own insecurities, is to betray your highest self. The mask of indifference, therefore, is not a mask of apathy, but a mask of profound wisdom. It is the recognition that some battles are never won on the battlefield of words, but rather in the serene, unyielding fortress of your own mind. It is about understanding that your silence is often louder than any shout, your composure more intimidating than any outburst. This journey is not without its challenges. Initially, the urge to react, to explain, to defend will be strong. It is a deeply ingrained pattern, but with conscious practice, with each deliberate choice to hold your peace, to observe rather than engage, you will begin to rewire your emotional responses. You will start to feel the profound shift, the lightness that comes from shedding the burden of other people's expectations and judgments. You will experience the exhilarating freedom of truly owning your emotional space. You will find that your presence becomes more potent. Your words, when you choose to speak them, carry more weight because they are no longer diluted by constant over-explanation. The woman who truly masters the mask of indifference becomes an enigma. She is fascinating precisely because she is not easily readable, not easily swayed. People sense her depth, her quiet strength, her unshakable core. They may try to penetrate her composure, but they will find no purchase. This isn't about erecting walls to keep love out. It's about discerning who is worthy of entering your sacred inner sanctum. It's about ensuring that those who do enter respect the sanctity of that space, understanding that you are not a canvas for their projections, nor a sounding board for their emotional instability. The art of emotional unreachability is ultimately an act of radical self-love. It is saying, unequivocally, my peace is not negotiable. My energy is sacred. My worth is non-dependent on your approval. It is the pinnacle of elegant self-possession, the quiet roar of a woman who has endured, who has learned, and who now, with an almost divine wisdom, chooses how and when she will allow the world to touch her. It is your ultimate power move, a quiet revolution of the soul. This philosophy, this way of being, is a pact with yourself, a covenant to protect your most valuable asset, your emotional sovereignty. It is about standing tall, like that diamond, like that queen, knowing your worth needs no external affirmation. It is about embracing the deep, still waters of your inner being, unperturbed by the surface ripples of a chaotic world. If this resonates with the quiet strength burgeoning within you, if you are ready to reclaim every ounce of emotional energy you have unknowingly ceded, then I invite you to join a community of women who are forging this path. This isn't just about subscribing to a channel. It's about subscribing to a new philosophy of self-preservation, a covenant of strength. Join our coven of inviolable wisdom, a sisterhood committed to reclaiming their power, one unreacted slight, one elegant silence at a time. Share your journey in the comments below, for in sharing our wisdom, we amplify our collective strength and solidify our unbreakable bond.